Okay, we're going to do the same thing we did in the last video. We're going to take another short film that I made in the past and break it down. Kind of go through it, talk about what I don't like about it, what I like about it. And we're going to do this one in real time instead of kind of breaking it up in the last one. The last video was like 20 minutes long. Let's try to make this one a little shorter. So this one we're doing The Fog. This was the proof of concept film for Flea, my very large long form short film. Just to see what we could do with fog. I kind of just wanted to, I wrote this script initially, and then that's when I decided to write Flea, because I was like, oh, this kind of like fog monster idea is kind of fun. If you haven't seen the film, go watch it. It's linked in the description below. It's probably going to be better if you watch it first. If not, you can watch along as we go. And here we go. Well, some context. 8-minute short film shot on Red, Komodo, and Raptor. I made this film with Adorama. They wanted to show off some gear, so I had them send in the Sigma Cine lenses and a Red Raptor, just try it out. Pretty funny watching it. It really didn't matter what camera I shot this on. I think it just kind of goes to show you just like lighting and kind of just trying to get a certain look. I mean, this could have been shot on a Raptor. Half the shots are shot on the Komodo with the speed booster. It basically looks identical to the Raptor in every single way. Probably could have shot this on an iPhone. No one, who cares? But at the time, that's what we were talking about was gear, and that's why we made it. So here we go. Okay, so this is a short film, and we are 32 seconds in, and the shot hasn't cut. Yeah, so I tend to, in my writing, really elongate things. I like this idea of suspense, and I think I was experimenting with that idea of how do you draw out suspense? How do you kind of pull on the rubber band? How do you get people interested in something and create a tone as well and a mood? And what I found in every single script that I've written so far, like the 4 or 5 that I've written, even my feature film that I'm writing, I think that generally I write things on the page pretty minimally, and then I go to shoot it, and it's like, I think this script was not even 5 pages. I think it was 4.5 pages. It's an 8-minute film. And then Flea was 17 pages. It's a 24-minute film. My last one, the video I just made over Goodbye Kiss, that was like 3 or 4 pages, and it's an 8-minute film. So there's a trend here with my filmmaking that I didn't even know I had, and then all of a sudden I'm experiencing it. And now I'm learning to write more on the page, and so it actually reflects what I'm about to do. Write down every action line, use spaces and beats to really show off the suspense I'm trying to create. That being said, this is a short film. I do think that short films should be short, and by making these, thinking that, well, I can still make something that's 8 minutes long and draw it out, I do think the first takeaway from this film is that I took too long to do things. I thought it was fun, it creates a mood and a tone, but this opening shot, similar to Flea, I wanted to have this one long opening to draw you in and never cut, and by doing that, we have this 1-minute shot. But I liked having the car come up and stuff, so I kept it all in there anyways. I didn't cut it short in the edit, which I think ideally I could have. But when you're doing oneers, it's hard to cut them short because they're oneers for a reason. He's got blood on his hand already because we did this take like 8 times. Using the camera to tell the story rather than keeping it natural. This was an experiment I was trying to do, using that pan to show the audience what we're looking at next. That could have easily been a second shot, but I was trying to keep it into a oneer. And then we cut into the kitchen. Don't love the sound effects here. It was kind of tricky to do though, just to show that it was off in the distance and he was maybe breaking into somewhere in the house to get her to go outside. I did all this Foley work on this, but I feel like There really should have been more ambient tone to this. You can't hear footsteps or anything. It was a big, big oversight when I was doing the audio on this, because I spent a lot of time trying to figure out how to do the audio on this later, and I just, where's the footsteps at? Where's the AC sound? It's kind of weird. But once again, a long Steadicam oneer. So we're 1 minute and 30 seconds in. Ideally, you would want to keep a short film even shorter and get to the point a little quicker, I would say. I love all this, though. It's pretty fun that we pulled off this Steadicam shot. Mostly hiding the Steadicam operator, Corey. Getting focus at T15 on a full frame sensor. She probably took her time too much, right? Like, if you heard a noise outside, you'd probably go. It's a horror film. You can have fun with it, but I learned a lot of lessons here with this. Originally, I had a shot in the garage where she walks through the garage, and I was like, wow, this is way too long. Cut that out. So we cut right to her opening this door. This is fine. I think this creates some sort of home invasion suspense. Still don't love the audio here. Little jump scare sound there.
Stay back. Are you okay?
Love that shot. That little pan and tilt was all done digitally. I actually had the frame wider, and I didn't like how it was static, and I wanted to punch in and give some movement, so I did that in post.
Do you need help? I can call someone.
Kind of wish I was on a wider lens, closer for a lot of this stuff. And this is like not at all how I pictured it in my head. The shot looks fine, the smoke coming out, the fog coming out, all of that is fine. I think there's something about how it just goes, once again, it's an audio thing. Audio in short films is the biggest thing. I think Patrick Tommaso is always talking about this. You watch a short film and you're like, that was decent, but like the audio is so bad. And it pulls you out, and audio is 50% of a film. We've heard that 1,000 times, and I totally believe it after doing this. There's something about going into this shot and then bringing up the music, which thank you Matt Schuber for doing the music. But then, like, not having any ambient tone, I think I was trying to make it a little more fantastical, a little over the top for this one spot. But tonally, for the rest of it, it doesn't feel like it matches. And I wish this was a little more natural feeling. I think overall, I wish I would have, now that I've seen the story, I wish I would have made everything a little bit more organic feeling, if you will. I love the comments. People were like, this guy's just vaping a lot. Yeah, that's what we used for that shot. We actually had him hit the vape really hard and then blow it out to create that fog effect. Okay, so then if speaking of links, we're at 4 minutes. We're at the midpoint, right? We've established the two characters from a screenwriting standpoint. We know who they both are now. Like, we've seen them. It's just a survival film, right? It's not like we need to have any backstory or anything. Could have done that, maybe, just to add some more tone, but didn't at the time. And we're 4 minutes in. Probably this film could have been a little more enticing if we would have made it like a 4 or 5 minute film and had the midpoint be more at like the 2 minute 30, and cut out a lot of that opening stuff. I do think there'd be less suspense in that, but I think the audience would stay more engaged longer if I did that. That's something that I would say is a critique of mine for this. I like these shots. We blacked out that kind of outside to make it look like night, but it was not night yet, and that's like just the black up there. It's black solid. I feel like this will turn out pretty nice. I think this scene cuts together pretty well. It's kind of cool that we're hiding in the shower there. You can't even see the camera in the mirror. I like all this. It does take its time though. Like maybe I could have added the scares in a little quicker. I think generally I wanted this film to be a little bit more grounded and have this kind of science fiction slash horror element to it. But now that I know more about the genre as a whole, like the horror genre, I think I wish I would have gone a little more bombastic with this. And it gets a little ridiculous here in a second, but I wish I would have just gone more over the top, made it a little more campy, maybe even just a little more ridiculous is what. But I was trying to ground it. I think I was taking myself maybe a little too seriously when I made this one. Obviously, a big complaint about horror films is like, why don't they just run out the front door? I was doing my best to hide the front door in all these shots. And it's like, yeah, she needs her phone to call for help, but also like run out the front door maybe? I don't know. It's risky. I don't know if I would. And I think this is like the most interesting part is like he had the fog in him and he fell over. Like if I could have got to this sooner, I think it would have been more of an engaging film. The Steadicam work was super hard. The sequence was hard. We had to come back and film like other days to get some of the stuff. Like, okay, sorry, the screen recording software stopped, but back into it. Like this, maybe she could have been like killed faster or like more brutally, like maybe pulled to the ground or like engulfed more. I just feel like between the sound effects and everything, it's just like a little cheesy, but I love how the fog rolls in. This was a practical effect that we did. Love how it rolls in. And then this, we comped two shots together. We used a vacuum to suck the fog in. I just wanted to play with practical effects. I had never really tried stuff that hard with like this before. So generally, I just wish it was a little more scary. I think that it was a proof of concept for something else bigger that I eventually wrote, and so it's supposed to just lead into that. But if you watch my last video talking about Goodbye Kiss, I really was talking about how the ending should not be ambiguous. Now, I don't think this ending is that ambiguous. I mean, she gets taken over by this fog. We don't know what the heck it is or anything, but maybe they're like, I do think that short films should be standalone, and they should have a beginning, middle, and an end. And overall, things would be more impactful if it wasn't tied to something else, right? And this is something that I can actually rant about in Hollywood altogether, and I'm clearly was caught up in that, made my own mistakes. But just a tip. I think that a lot of things on TV and movies now, and the reason that they're not really that good, not as good as they used to be, is because we're treating everyone in this meta level like they've seen movies before. So we're treating them like they've already know how movies work. They know how, if it's a baseball movie, we don't talk about like what the goal is of baseball. We're just like, you know what baseball is like, how the game works. But they do that with everything. Like, you know how superheroes fly. We don't even have to tell you why they fly now and stuff like that. And I think it's important that we honestly make things live in more of a vacuum than we're taught or we think we should. The reason Jurassic Park is good is because they give you the exposition of how dinosaurs come back to life, how old they are, and everything. But if you watch a dinosaur film today, you're going to see that they treat that dinosaur film as if you've already seen Jurassic Park, and they don't explain any of that stuff. I know it could feel redundant, but it makes it not good on its own. And if things were more, now I'm just ranting here, if things just could have more of an impact on their own, if they could tell their story in their own capsule, I have a feeling they would be better. So this was already kind of a universal film. Like, it was supposed to be a part of this other bigger thing, and I feel like that made the film suffer a little bit. It was almost a cop-out for me to be like, well, but this is so, this is just the beginning to make you want more. Even when I made Flea, I was like, this is just so you want more. And it's like, make it good on its own. Make it have a good ending. Close a loop. Move on. That's just my 2 cents. Yeah, quick breakdown of a film. Let me know in the comments what you think I could have done differently. I definitely think I could have added a little bit, maybe more context to the story, or more ambiance, or even like a little comedy or something, just some more like life. I feel like what this was missing was life more than anything. It's that texture that you need sometimes to make a film feel just more fun and more engaging. It's just that lived in feeling. Wish I could have done that more with this film. Okay, that's it. I'll probably do another one of these in the future here soon. Until next time, guys, I'm Such a Sakurai. But before we go, I do want to talk about the sponsor of this video, which is Squarespace. Squarespace is an all-in-one platform to present your work online. Start a completely personalized website with the new guided design system, Squarespace Blueprint. Choose from professionally curated layout and styling options to build a unique online presence from the ground up. Maybe you want to start an online store to sell your photography or other products. Squarespace has the built-in functionality to get one of those up and running quickly, and I've actually been using Squarespace to run my online stores for almost a decade now. Make checkout seamless for your customers with simple but powerful payment tools, accept credit cards, PayPal, and Apple Pay, and in eligible countries offer customers the option to buy now and pay later with Afterpay and ClearPay. And of course, if you're like me, you're probably looking to build a portfolio, which Squarespace has tons of features for that very thing. You can even create private galleries for client work using these tools. So if you're looking for a home for your work, you can do that with Squarespace. Click the link in the description to get 10% off, and I want to thank Squarespace for sponsoring this video.